Yes. Yes,
No,
we do.
we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
All right, we got questions here.
What's up, everybody?
We're the Gross Up. This is Ben Cross.
Thomas Bailey. Oh, we're doing last names? Cool.
Yep. And today
Thomas
we're
Bailey.
answering your questions.
I'm excited because last week we announced we wanted to do another Q&A, and here we are. And I haven't seen any of the questions. Ben has, so if he sounds better, it's because he was prepared.
I am better. You're queuing, we're A-ing, and here we go.
All right.
Without further ado, first question is from our friend Chris Roberts, Director, Innovation and Product Strategy at Ayers. Chris asks, what innovative things are you seeing in global mobility that are exciting you?
Wow. Well, I'm
Thomas?
gonna let you go with that one because you are definitely more in the global mobility space than I am, to be honest.
You know we go to like the same conferences.
Oh, but I don't pay attention at those conferences.
fair
though.
enough.
I'm just there.
Exciting things. The most exciting thing I've seen, literally, is augmented reality. So when we start talking about augmented reality, AR, people, virtual reality, VR, AR, VR, the things that are going on in household goods right now with like the company Yembo, where it's going in and, well, actually, this is video recognition software. It's going in and it's actually scanning what you have in your home. It's saying, okay, that's a chair, that's a table, that's an end table, that's a lamp. This is how much it probably weighs. I know our friends over at American Relocation Connections are also flirting with some stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
More to come on that. I think we're gonna hear about that at their conference. I think some of the other things that are really cool from a augmented reality standpoint are where you can go in and actually look at homes online and envision the furniture already in the home and kind of where does it fit. You can also play with this, like I think Wayfair does some of this if you're shopping for furniture.
Yeah.
You can also go on and see a house and then kind of picture stuff in there. Some furniture rental places might be messing with this too.
No, that's cool. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I've definitely heard, obviously about the online surveys or the video surveys, and what some of the companies are doing to kind of make sure that that's. I mean, because a lot of the people were just taking and saying a video, and you're on the phone with a person, and they're visual. You're actually walking through with a person, and that kind of it's a Band-Aid for that. But the actually being able to take a video and software pick up like how much this dresser should weigh. That's where that's extremely innovative, and not all companies have rolled that out yet. A lot of people are still doing over the phone surveys.
Yeah, right. Good question, Chris. Thanks for supporting the show. Next one comes from Agnes Pichu, a mobility professional. She asks, waiting to hear back from Peggy who's taking her place, or is she going to still be part of ERC?
Unfortunately, I don't know either because.
I don't know either.
Does anybody know?
I'm.
Wait. I thought you knew.
No, I didn't know. We're asking questions. We don't know if we know the answers.
No, because I thought so. I missed the final session, and I thought like I missed like this is where I'm
No, it's
going.
like a big cliffhanger. It's like TBD, man. Nobody knows.
I thought they would at least say like who's taking her place.
No,
They didn't do anything.
She joked around and hinted at some things, but I don't really know.
They gave her a goodbye.
So here's what we're gonna do, because we don't have any information. We're just gonna guess. We're
Okay.
gonna recklessly
All right, here we go.
speculate.
Here we go.
Okay,
You go first.
So here's what I think
yes.
she's gonna do. I think she's gonna take some time.
Should.
I think she has a daughter. I think she's going to enjoy life a little bit, because I think 9 years or 10 years, whatever it's been, being under the microscope can be a little much for people.
for
So I think
sure.
she's going to take some time. I think her husband also owns a business or whatever, so she's going to do that. And then I think she's probably going to get roped into some sort of an opportunity as a senior leader, either within, I'm guessing at a supplier.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think that's where the money is in this business. So I think that's probably the next
I mean,
thing for Peggy.
I've seen other,
She'll have the opportunity to pick her spot. I think
Yeah.
she's so dynamic, so well respected.
I've seen some other like presidents of associations, and then that did well and brought this association along over the years go to other associations.
Yeah,
you
so
don't think
that's
a
like what
possibility?
Linda Bauer-Dauer
Yeah.
did at AMSA. The thing is, though, Linda was a professional association leader. Peggy came from the mobility industry at Microsoft, so she is really a part of the mobility industry. Now, I know just from listening to her that she's also a futurist and also enjoys hearing what's next. So I could see her going on in some senior leadership capacity or advisor capacity with some of these new disruptive companies that are getting into the space. But again, I have no firsthand knowledge of this. Also, ERC has not called me to run the show.
Why did you? Can you just stop talking?
I'm going to squash that right now.
Can you stop talking? Because that was my next thing was if I had to guess who was going to be next, it was either going to be you or not me.
Yeah,
it was definitely going to be you or like maybe. I mean,
should we recklessly speculate about who might be the next person? See, who I think?
What, Robert?
Robert Horsley. I think he would be an excellent choice.
I feel like that's like actually.
I don't know what his personal situation is or anything, but like.
I mean, personally, I would say yes to that offer if I was him. So whatever your personal situation is, Robert.
Yeah, but you don't know what people, I mean, plus it's a position where there's a lot of people throwing rocks, throwing stones at the throne there.
Robert, I think Robert can handle that. I feel like he can handle that. He's got a really great demeanor, and he's been around the industry forever, right?
He's got good vision as well.
Didn't he just get an award?
Got the Lifetime Achievement,
like just
Hall of
that
Honors
thing, just that little thing. I mean, I think that's next step is like running the program, running the show.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to see.
You got my vote, unless I'm voting for Ben. So let's go with that one.
Cool. Thanks for the question, Agnes.
Next question. So Christopher,
here's another one from Chris. Chris is a very engaged.
Chris Roberts again from Ayers. What parallels/insights exist between running a marathon, and being in the mobility industry? It's tough, it's a hard thing to do. I was from a marathon standpoint. I mean, one of the biggest things I learned from doing that process, it takes a lot of work behind the scenes. In the mobility industry as well. I mean, it looks good. I mean, obviously, if you're in mobility, if you're a transferee or a person moving for your employer, all you see is what's happening to you and what the experience is that you're feeling. But a lot goes into that behind the scenes for that experience to be either crap or amazing.
That's funny. So I've heard of so many people ask you about the marathon, right? Mm-hmm. And that's been the thing that you keep saying is you don't know how hard I've prepared for this. You don't know how hard I've worked for this. People saying, "Oh, your time is amazing," or "How long have you been, running and whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, I've been running for a year and change," and like, "Oh my God, that's incredible." But you don't see how much work goes into it. And just like mobility, you see this relocation experience, but you don't understand fully how many people are working behind the scenes, putting in how many hours, how much experience, how much knowledge goes into it, and it all kind of coalesces to work, in lockstep together to provide this seamless experience for the transferee. And we all know the transferee experience isn't seamless, but I think it's a hell of a lot more seamless with all these experts working behind the scenes than it could be. Just like if you went out and decided you were going to try to run 26 miles, it would not go seamlessly.
Right. And then a lot of companies look good on the outside, and they have everything, all the bells and whistles that it seems as if they should be able to run a great marathon or run a great mobility program. But I mean, it just isn't the case. You really have to put in that work. You really have to have a great team, a great network of suppliers.
But see, you were different because you put in the work and you look good.
See, that's where it's
the
at
triple
right
double.
I mean,
that's
when you got like university and reload trainers. We look good and we do good. I got a little plug there.
All right. Moving on. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the questions.
Chris, you're awesome.
I hope we didn't let you down on that one.
Do we have more from him?
No. Well, yeah, we do. We buried the third one, though. That's a just in case.
All right, cool.
All right, next one. Rachel Fisher-Lyons, Director of Marketing and Business Development at Olympia Moving and Storage, and also our current chair of the 40 Below Committee for the American Moving and Storage Association, writes, "I'm in the process of interviewing folks for a position right now, something I've done many times, but I learn from it and make better hires each time. Parentheses, when I first started, I made terrible hiring decisions.
Terrible.
What are your red and green flags when you meet someone and considering whether they should join your team?" You just hired somebody recently, Thomas.
Yeah, and then I ignored all the red flags for this fella. Oh, he's probably watching too.
Big shout out, Tito.
Big shout out, Tito. You were the worst hire ever, right? But no, I think that I'm a very personal type of guy. So like, I mean, I would try my best to ask as many. I mean, because if you can ask all the right questions, the job interview questions, the one about the job, or have you researched the company and stuff like that. If they suck at that, then just no, obviously, right?
Okay.
But, I mean, most people have prepared themselves for those like standard interview questions. I mean, I feel like you got to throw in like as much personal on-the-fly questions. I mean, you do more interviewing than I do. Like,
So I went through a phase in my life where I hired a lot of people.
so like what
And
do you
I
look
realized also, like Rachel, I was terrible at it.
Are you
I
better
think one of the-
now?
Well, they
Honestly.
took me out of doing that because I don't know. But
No.
well, I'm gonna I'm gonna be
sorry.
honest, right?
Let's
First
go.
of all, I haven't hired a lot of people at a high level. I've hired a lot of entry level people. So
Okay.
it's really difficult, I think, as an entry level person, to get it's harder to interview them than it is to interview a subject matter expert level person.
Right,
because you can identify expertise. When you can't identify expertise, then you're left with like these
Potential.
intangible, potential.
Right,
How much
how do
they
you get
want
that?
it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna send them to Brooklyn for a cheesecake or something, like to try to see if they
Yeah,
really
right.
want it or not. Shout
That
out
was
to
the
my man
best.
Diddy.
Diddy runs the city.
But you can't really send, a move coordinator to
Right.
to Hamtramck
You
for
can.
a punchki.
You can.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
should try that.
So I've really struggled with this. I think that one of the mistakes I made, I'll talk about the things I've done
Yeah, okay.
poorly.
Let's talk about that.
The mistakes I've made when hiring people is I try to hire people that are like me
Oh yeah.
because I think that I'm the model. And
you're not,
what happens when you do that, though, is then all of a sudden you have a bunch of people like you, and your organization becomes heavy in certain skills and light in other skills.
Okay.
Because you have a lack of diversity in your organization,
I never
whether
heard
it
it
be
put
from
that
a
way.
youth standpoint or an ethnicity standpoint or a cultural standpoint or a gender standpoint. When you start to like say I just hired a bunch of young, hard-charging white dudes, and I just had a whole bunch of those guys running around. My organization might be strong in some areas, but it would be incredibly weak and have all these deficits or deficiencies in other areas,
Yeah.
And so, like for instance, somebody use Rachel, right? So Rachel is totally different type of person than me, but I think we work amazing together because we balance each other. If I didn't have a Rachel on my team and I just had a bunch of dudes like me, we would not get a lot of things done, and that's a problem. And so I think kind of hiring for diversity is good. Hiring for diverse skill sets is good. As far as red flags go, I think people that talk about interpersonal issues that they had at the last job they had, when they start, my boss was terrible, or the lady
Okay, I'm about
wouldn't
to say,
stop
but who does
bugging
that?
me about this,
So
and this
you-
guy wouldn't stop doing
so
this,
those
and
people-
it made me cry, and I'm like, whoa.
So those people that will point fingers at others for the reason
Lack
why
of
they're not in the
lack of
lead-
accountability.
Yeah. So like the reason why you don't like your last job or the reason why this job isn't working out for you is because somebody else, not because I'd like to be better, I'd like to do this, and whatever.
Right.
So,
Similarly, if another lack of accountability thing, but on the other, expressed a different way, is when you ask them what are your weaknesses, and they say, well, I don't really have any, or they give a bullshit one like, oh, I'm a bit of too much of a perfectionist,
Oh, okay.
or whatever, and they're not being,
Yeah.
they haven't really taken an account of a personal inventory of who
Yeah.
they are and what they're good at, you know. So I think accountability is key. I think the ability to
and that's the accountability is a good one though, because I mean, even though you think that people would be smart enough to just work their way around that and give you the perfect answer, still they really don't though, because you can tell a lot by on the accountability scale whether somebody's upfront or not, and they'll just kind of spill it really quick, and because they'll point a finger, they think they're getting out of a corner, but they're really painting themselves into one by saying, oh well, it just didn't work out because this person and that person, or this company didn't really fit me well.
Yeah, I also started getting into, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but I started also getting into giving people assessments before I hired them,
Like what do you mean?
like intelligence tests.
Oh, straight up?
Like here's math.
Like 2
Do
plus
math.
2?
Put, write something, because I want to know if you're going to start sending out customer-facing emails.
You
and
would need to know
don't
somebody.
how to write
I made
professionally.
a joke though when I got hired at Reload Trans in 2007. This was my first real office job, and it felt stupid. But Frank said, can you just write down like hey, my name is blah 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 in email form. Like, how would you go about introducing yourself and trying to,
Right.
introduce yourself to this transferee? I just want to see. And then
Yeah.
I did the thing. It felt stupid, but it wasn't okay
Right.
email.
Yeah.
And now that you said that, it actually makes sense though, because you do need to know if somebody can make you look good, or at least that first impression is everything.
You know what else I used to ask people? I used to ask people what kind of food they like. I used to say, like, yo, if I were to take you to lunch right now, where would we go?
So what food was like a red flag though?
If they didn't show creativity and they didn't enjoy variety, because I knew that we were such a fast-growing organization and there were all these
Wait,
new
this is real?
ideas.
Are you making this up?
No,
Wow.
I thought we were talking
progressive,
people.
bro.
Well, I didn't, because I was so bad at it. I was just like, okay, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
So I started throwing all these different types of things at people. And but this goes back to me hiring for me. And this might have been a problem.
Yeah.
Because Thomas says, you're going to get an ulcer because everything you eat is spicy. Like, I love crazy spicy. We're
Yeah.
here in an Indian restaurant right now.
Cannot wait till you shut up so we can eat. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, so I used to try to hire for people that liked variety and liked to be adventurous.
Yeah. That seems like that'd be a good idea though.
But you also need people that are plain Jane vanilla
Like
people.
like steak potatoes or like
yes.
Burger King. Well, I mean,
Yes.
I think, okay, if I was doing the hiring and you said, yo, and your answer was like McDonald's, you're probably not gonna make it to the second stage.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you don't care about your body. Sorry.
All right, cool.
All right,
Let's keep
so
it moving. Rachel, good luck to you.
Yeah, don't do anything.
Yeah,
that we
don't
said,
do what we're doing.
Pretty much.
I think
So
you're probably on a better.
You're on the you said you're getting better, so just keep going that way because we're not apparently.
Yeah.
Are we doing this again?
No.
Chris Roberts.
No.
You are just. We got to.
All right, you know what? No.
You can't
Chris
do it.
Roberts.
All right.
Last question. Chris Roberts, Director of Innovation and Product Strategy, Ayers. What's one thing you wish you could change about the global mobility industry? One thing, quick.
Don't do that.
All right, here I go. Diversity.
Wait, no. Let me
No,
do it
I
again.
tell- no, you can't. Let me take. I took. I gave you the first.
Diversity. My answer is diversity. Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
How so?
There's just not enough diversity. Okay. Hotspot, right? So there's so many people. There's a very diverse group of people that support and work in the moving and storage and global mobility industry flat out. Back in the offices, there's tons of people of all different races,
Black,
creed,
brown,
national,
women.
everything, right?
Yep.
But then when you go to the conferences, it is very heavy on the. They look at most
Guys
people,
like me.
most people, guys and ladies that look like him, and I have nothing against guys and ladies that look like this fine young gentleman right here, but it doesn't actually mirror the people that we move as an industry. I mean, they said like any good company mirrors the people that it's serving, and our industry does not, unless you go to like IAM, and even IAM.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. So
Just the whole
first of all, the moving industry as a whole is very old, male, pale, stale.
Yeah,
right?
I heard that
Okay.
before. I
Yeah.
liked it.
And then when you go into the mobility industry specifically, it gets a lot more diverse.
Yeah.
It gets a lot more female. It gets a lot more people of color, people
I
from
think-
other nationalities.
Yeah.
You know, because it is.
And then a lot of that has to do with the real estate side of things too, though. Because once you add in real estate to the global mobility scheme, I feel like
real estate skews a lot more feminine, a lot more female.
Yep.
Right. But going back to, I'm going to go back to, companies need to look like their customers, because I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. For instance, if we have a whole bunch of white U.S. nationals at our company.
Yep.
Not white nationalists. I don't want to. No. Just like white guys. We have a whole bunch of white guys at our moving company,
gonna
right?
drink this.
But say we're moving a bunch of people from Asia, or we're moving people from India, or whatever. We need to be able to understand their cultural context
Right.
there. We
Right.
need to understand that you take your shoes off when you go in the house. It's like a hard stop kind of thing.
Yeah.
We need to be sensitive to their food and other customs, things like that, right? So I think that's where there's such an opportunity to improve on the diversity and inclusion. We need more Indian people in the moving industry. I mean, more. So anyway, so I think that's a huge opportunity, and I think our scores, our results, our outcomes would bear that out.
Right. I mean, because people feel. I mean, and people feel comfortable with people that look or have gone through similar circumstances or life experiences as them. So
but that's also a trap, though.
It is a trap
because that's the same rationale I would use to only hire white guys, and that's a trap, right?
Yeah.
So because
But
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
if you're purposely, client facing, I'd like for, yeah. I mean, I guess it's a slippery slope either direction. Though.
I sat on a bus, man. I met this guy, a great guy. This guy's name was Tony from China, right?
Okay.
And Tony, I love you. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, but here I go. We're on this bus.
Yeah.
We're at MSI, right? It's first MSI forum I ever went to. I'm sitting on this bus, and it's Tony from Shanghai, right?
Okay.
And I'm like talking to him about the concept of old money versus new money because nouveau riche is the thing in China. He's like, we're going through Cape Cod. He's like, these people don't look rich. I'm like, trust me, they're rich.
They are.
They might all drive a Subaru and
Or
wear
like a
Lands End
F-150,
flannels, but
they're rich.
They're rich, right? And so we talked a little bit about that, and then we talked about diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, in China, there is no diversity. And I said, well, here we make a point to hire people of different races and different genders and different, whatever, sexualities, whatever. And I said, so wouldn't you do that if somebody came in and applied for a job? Wouldn't you give them the same opportunity? He's like, no. He's like, no, I would only hire Asian-faced people. And I'm like, Tony, you gotta, you don't mean that, right? He's like, no, yeah, my customers are Asian, so I need to have Asian face. I can't have like a black face or white face. I need to be Asian face. And I'm like, you're crazy. You keep that to yourself the rest of this bus ride.
But I mean,
we're gonna be friends, but you just don't tell anybody that, okay?
I mean, but if you look at where he's
Good
from,
guy. He's a good guy.
I mean, if you look at the population is very
But
heavy
that's what's
one-sided.
normal over there.
Right. Over here, it's just not. Yeah.
Like, imagine, what if all your customers were racist?
What?
I know we're getting really deep right there. But I said, what if all your customers were racists?
So you would just
Probably
hire a
with
bunch
more
of
people.
racists?
I mean, what if all my customers were racist?
You just what? Even if I was the president of a company and everybody that I was, it was like white. If everybody was white nationalists that were my customers, I would hire a bunch of white nationalists that were okay with working for a black guy.
I mean, it's a slippery slope. Can we get off this question, man?
All right.
Hey, all right.
Speaking of minorities. Hey Chuck, how's it going, man? That was a great way to introduce you. Sorry about that, bro. Read it.
See, when we're on script, it's worse than when we're off script.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Charles White, president of International Association of Movers. You seem to have harnessed the power of social media. How can others follow your lead? And you're gonna go down. Where should they start? What medium is the best to stick your toe into the social media water?
Well, I think this is a faulty premise. This assumes we're doing this correctly.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that last question just
this
demonstrates
makes
we're not doing this correctly.
We are.
But thank you,
flying by
Chuck.
the seat of our pants.
So, how do people get started if they want to get into social?
Just start. I mean, if you're watching this and you're on LinkedIn and you are a professional in this industry or whatever industry you're in, I think that this would be the place to start. Maybe. Right, so I mean that's assuming if you don't have Facebook or any of that other stuff, you might as well just start here because at this point LinkedIn is definitely trending more towards a personal feel than ever before. So I think this is a great place to start. You can start comfortably. You can kind of talk about things in a professional sense, but also have a personal flair to it. So I would just start. I mean that's what I did when I was always connecting with people on LinkedIn, but one day I was like, I'm throwing a video up and I'm just gonna give it a go, and it worked. So. Just start. Don't really critique it too much. It's not gonna, like our first episode doesn't look like this one, or the production is gonna change as you go along. But just start right away and stick your toe in whatever water you want to go with.
Yeah, and I think it helps when you get a buddy system, right? Accountability partner or whatever, and you decide, hey, I want to do this, and I'm sure you can find somebody else that says, hey, I want to do this, and then maybe you do it together, or maybe you agree that you'll go on this journey together, but you'll do your own content, but you'll go on this journey together.
Yep.
Also, you don't have to be a content producer. I mean, you can be you can be a consumer of content, or you can use social platforms, from a lead generation standpoint, or to connect and network with other people who have common interests, or for jobs, or whatever. But I would think being active on there is important, and then I think deciding, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get a new job? Are you trying to get more business? Are you trying to make the world a better place? and then that's going to determine what platform you use. So for instance, if you're trying to make the world a better place, Facebook might be a good place to do it. If you're trying to leverage your business stature to make the world a better place, LinkedIn might be the one. Or if you're trying to
LinkedIn and Instagram for that. Yeah.
Yeah, Insta, it could be good, especially if you're heavy into travel, lifestyle, things like that, like Tommy's running and stuff. It plays really well on Instagram. But I guess once you decide you want to be a content creator, if that's kind of what was in this question, once you decide you want to create content, you can start with still images. You can start with quotes of the day. You can start, John Zilke puts a song out, every week, whatever. Like you can also just decide you're going to turn on the camera one day and share a thought, for 30 seconds.
And then that's the other thing you're gearing towards was, because you can be a content creator and create your message, but then you can also be a documenter. Like you can easily find information, or like you said, like it could be a picture, or it could just be reposting quotes, or just seeing like great articles and really kind of diving into those articles and seeing what you take from it, and then just sharing that information. And that's takes much less, and you could do that 5 times a day. And it's pretty hard to create 5 videos a day that make sense. So you can easily find information and then just redistribute that information to share it with your network, as long as it's pertinent to the industry that you're in, which is a great way to go as well. So
yeah, you're kind of curating the content.
You don't always have to be in front of the camera. You don't ever have to shoot a video. You could just repost, share it. As long as you're bringing value to your network, you're all good to go.
Yeah, you're right. All right, this next one's kind of interesting here. So it's kind of a long one here. Let's see here. I'm gonna let you read this one.
No.
Here. Yeah.
Because it says hi, Ben.
Yeah.
All right. Victoria McCullough from a mobility professional from Dallas. Hi, Ben. Okay, here we go. I follow you, and no kidding, you post very inspiring messages as well as down-to-earth posts. So I really appreciate you. Did you write this yourself? I see your post at like every function. How in the world do you find the time? Do you want to read? Do you want to like answer as I go, or is this? I just wanted to share with someone and not publicly. And note publicly or not publicly? And not publicly that I sometimes find posts about finding new jobs somewhat depressing. Can you go down? I'm a more senior candidate, and although I am currently employed, there's a chance.
You having a little trouble reading right now?
Yeah.
I'm a more senior candidate, and although I'm currently employed, there's a chance I may not be early next year, as the client I am with on site did not renew my company's contract. So I'm looking for a somewhat different position. I want to move up in a position, but I find that recruiters just look at your current position versus the possibility of where one can grow into. Any tips on how to overcome these biases with just your LinkedIn profile and resume? I've followed a lot of advice about increasing my network, but frankly, I find LinkedIn is like Facebook, but for professionals. I'm just a connection to many people. I would appreciate any advice you can give me, as I find it difficult to reach out to these strangers and people in HR who I really know, like just ghost you when they know you're looking for a new job. Thanks, and have a great weekend, Victoria. So first of all, Victoria McCullough, your message, it really touched me in my heart. I hear somebody here who is desperately out there searching for something and really, really needs help. And she doesn't know, she's really at her wit's end. I mean, a lot of these questions we've gotten today are kind of funny and just kind of like fodder, but it is a person that really needs our help. So this is one of the really key things that I want to do here. So first of all, if you're watching this, I want you to go connect with Victoria McCullough.
Right.
We're going to link her in the comments, in the notes here on this as well. So I want you to connect with Victoria. Victoria, if you're watching this, couple of things. I looked at your profile. I noticed you have 167 connections. I'd like to see you get over 500. You can do this by searching for global mobility professionals and then just kind of going through and looking for people. You don't have to personalize your invitation. Just send them an invite. Most people will say yes.
Connect,
Just connect, okay? So I'd like to see you get over 500 plus. The other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to connect you with some recruiters in our industry. Danny Herskowitz from Elliott Scott HR is a great one. There's also some other ones as well, like Alchemy. There's a few out in the UK that are good. So I'd like for you to connect with them as well. I'm happy to help you with that offline. And then lastly, I think is I'd like to challenge you to change your mindset a little bit. So I know when you're facing imminent unemployment or you're unemployed, you feel worthless, you feel helpless, you feel like irrelevant, and the world's kind of gone on without you and moved on without you. But know that right now we're talking about you, so you're super relevant. So get that out of your head. Know that people love you and they care about you, and you're going to have a spot soon. And I want you to walk in an abundance mindset and not a scarcity mindset. There are lots of great opportunities out there for someone like you with the experiences that you have. Victoria is located in Dallas, so if anybody knows of a mobility role in Dallas, Texas, she's got RMC and corporate experience. I think currently she's with Cardis right now on site somewhere. So if anybody knows of anybody either for a remote position in mobility or one in Dallas, I think Victoria would be great for that. Check her out. My mom and my dad both went through or have been going through what I'll call kind of ageism in the workplace, where you get older and then you feel like you're not getting the same looks and same opportunities as younger people are. I think that's a real thing too that people need to continue talking about. So those are a couple things off the top that I've thought about. Thomas, any thoughts?
No, I like what you said. I like what you said about. You didn't say it exactly, but change your perspective. The outlook on it. Because once you get into the perspective where this is all happening at you and to you, I'm sure an interview, like we talked about earlier in the interview process, I'm not sure how many people you're interviewing with, but if you feel this is not a good experience for you and it's you're at the bottom end of this, people probably are going to pick up on that vibe, and people would love to probably help and reach out, but they have to also take in consideration that their job is to find the right person for this position. So you may be the right person on paper, but then if you come in with a different vibe, I'm not assuming you are, but if you come into these situations with the wrong vibe, it's going to be hard for them to place you in the position that you deserve and then see the potential or possibility of what you can grow into. So definitely be the person that that you'd like to be if you want people to see that you can grow into that position or whatever you're looking for. Show them that that's the type of personality that you really have, even though you're in a tough spot. Just like I was listening to something the other day, it was just about perspective. Is whenever you're going through anything, just say to yourself, like, this will not kill me. As long as this does not kill me, this is all, it's all good from here. And I feel like with all the things that Ben said, definitely though, if you have 100 and something connections on LinkedIn, there's definitely some work to be done there. Getting to 500 should be fairly easy and pretty quick. Even if you're reaching out, extending to the second connections through LinkedIn. So some of your connections that you have, kind of go through and see what people are commenting. Look at all the people that comment on Ben's post. Connect with them.
Connect with all of them. Yeah.
Connect with them. Connect with the people that are on mine. Whatever it is.
And if you're watching this, guys, I want you to friend and connect with Victoria McCullough. Help her out. Pay it forward. You've had a lot of success, I'm sure, in your life. Let's help this woman find her next chapter. Okay. Love you, Victoria. Keep your head up.
I love you too, Victoria.
Let's move on here.
Dallas is a beautiful place to live.
All right, here we go.
All right. I was like Jake Laurie from Business Development Manager at Apple Moving. Ben Cross and Thomas Bailey, you are both problem solvers within the relocation industry. I want to know about the biggest problem each of you ever faced and how you handled them. Biggest problem ever? Oh shit. No.
No?
Mm-mm.
You're not going there? Okay, I'll go first. Biggest problem I ever faced was the most immediate and dire problem was being unemployed. I was unemployed for probably 3 months back in 2011.
Are we going there?
What's the biggest problem? Your biggest problem is different than my biggest problem, right?
Go ahead, man.
What did I do? I reached out to my network. I interviewed at a bunch of places, and I tried to add as much value as possible. And every day worked really hard once I did get that opportunity to put in more value than I took out of the organization, make sure that I made myself indispensable, and then kind of eventually created a little empire within the organization for myself so that I was ultimately indispensable and wouldn't find myself back in that same situation. I mean, frankly, there's a couple rock bottom moments in my life, and that was one of them, where those have always stuck with me. And I think I use those as motivation not to end up back in those situations. So that was mine.
That's a good question, follow-up question from the Victoria's question as well. But I mean, I think I'll go back pretty far from mine, I guess. I think my biggest problem was right before I started at Reload Trans, I was in a really weird spot. Like, I was kind of pulled in different directions of a negative type of lifestyle versus kind of building and establishing myself in a career world.
When you had a new baby,
and that's why I kind of linked up with Move for Hunger, and I really feel what they're trying to do, because I was in a situation where it was something needed to change so I could properly feed my family and raise a daughter and move on through life. And I didn't have a network at the time, so I probably was in Victoria's spot in that case, and not as much background as I wanted to have, and a professional background, and I really just had to find somebody that would look into the future.
So you just got into that spot, though. You got into that Reload Trans spot, and then you decided, hey, I'm just going to work my ass off.
I started as a coordinator too. I mean, I started at the lowest paying salary they could have possibly offered me, probably.
Me too.
And you just got to take what you can get
at the moment.
I started on
the phones.
Yeah, you take what you can get at the moment, and then if you are the person that can grow into this beautiful thing, you just got to do it. Find a little spot. It may not be the position that you wanted to start at, the salary you wanted or think you deserve, but if you can get in at the ground level, and if you are that person, what they say, the cream always rises to the top, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Well, good luck out there. Jake just made a move out to San Antonio. Used to work with me actually at University Moving Storage, and he went to be close to his family down there. All right, Nicole Baril, founder at Nicole Baril Intercultural Consulting, writes, the first thing that jumps to mind is helping with the assignee transferee experience. I know there's a lot of talk about this, but I still think we have a long way to go. For example, in intercultural training, most companies have transferees fill out a needs assessment. This is true for language companies, DSPs, transferees end up having to fill in the same info they did previously, and even if it's new info, it's the 27th form they've had to complete. How can we make the overall relocation experience better by limiting the number of touch points, having less forms and calls for the transferees, and sharing information among suppliers? Thomas, do you want to take a crack at that?
I don't want to take a crack at that.
All right, I'll take a crack at this one, right? So this is huge, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what the answer is not. The answer is not more portals. So please, if you're thinking about building a portal, don't. Go invest that money in your community, help a child. Do not build another damn portal that I have to log into, because I have 40 portals right now that I have to log into. My computer remembers all my passwords, and some Russian probably has them, and they're gonna ransom me for Bitcoin now, okay? So
privacy.
So if you don't build another portal, which I would love it if you didn't, I think the other thing that we have to go to, two things. One is some sort of a universally adopted API framework that will API all of our systems, our proprietary systems together, okay? Oh, wow. Because when I do something in my system, your system should update, his system should update, and everybody should be on the same page, right? A lot of people might call that a blockchain or ledger type of system. Yeah. I think the blockchain truly could end up wedging itself into our world. It's already coming into play in logistics, and frankly, we're a subset of the logistics industry. Yeah. So I could see blockchain solving for both the immediacy of information issue as well as privacy issues, because it's crypto, you do have some privacy there.
Because that would be the biggest issue. Right?
Yeah. The second thing I would say is I had an epiphany regarding Slack. If anybody uses Slack currently at their office, Slack is it's basically like a group instant messenger.
It's like a group text, or
It's like a big group text, but you can choose who you want out of it, and you can @, certain people. You can put files in there as well.
meeting setups and stuff like that,
So
right?
what if our transferees were on a Slack channel, right? And we had a Slack channel within our say I'm the RMC. I have a Slack channel within my organization, right, at the RMC. And I have a Slack feed for John Smith, Jane Doe, whatever, right? And I have all my transferees active, have their own Slack. And then I go into that, and all the service providers who are working with Jane Doe are all in that Slack feed. So University Moving, Relotrans, Coldwell Banker Real Estate, whatever, right? And they're all in there, and they're all working together. Now, you could say, well, what about all the information that they're seeing that isn't really pertinent? I would say when a transferee is even contemplating changing the closing on their house, that would be a great time for the moving company to know that that's a possibility. Yeah. Because now I can already start making arrangements and saying, hey, by the way, I know you're considering changing the closing. I can do the 15th, the 18th, or the 23rd for pickup. So you might want to keep that in mind as you set a closing date. Right? So we can all start to know, and then, we all work together and collaborate.
And then that channel, right, could be where the where the blockchain happens, like all the information goes there, and then it comes out, or APIs out to everybody's system. So
potentially that'd be great, yeah.
Right. I mean, because it would
usually
have to
it's just a communication platform, but if you could actually, if you could export that, like, okay, we'll change your pickup date to the 15th. As soon as I send that, now my system is reading that and pulling that data back in, and now it's done deal in there. That's next level.
I mean, it doesn't even seem that. I mean, it doesn't seem that hard, actually. I mean, it's probably an idea that
people that are winning today are taking incredibly complex technology and making it seem super easy and intuitive. And I think that's who might win tomorrow. What's cool about what I just described is Slack already exists. It's not proprietary.
Right, that's why it's not.
You have RMCs and service providers going out investing millions of dollars in developing proprietary technology that, when it comes to market, may or may not even be relevant, may or may not even meet the customer's needs, and might be obsolete in 6 months to 3 years.
And it's really putting more stress on the supply chain.
Exactly. Exactly. Because now I got 20 portals I have to manage, and
we
every portal is special.
We have like 3 or 4 employees that just manage the portals.
Oh my gosh.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, we need portals for our portals. Anyway, so cool. Great question, Nicole.
Portals for our portals. I like that one. All right, Janet Turner, Director of Sales and Marketing at Accelerated International Forwarders. Ben Cross, will you continue on the vegan journey? Can you answer this, Ben?
I'm getting this question quite a bit. Janet,
Are you?
I'm
really
currently
excited.
sitting at a vegan Indian restaurant.
On day 28, though.
And day 28.
So you got 2 more days.
Vegan is a very exclusive lifestyle, and to be vegan, you can never dabble. There might be some dabbling. I might have vegan days.
You gonna dabble?
I don't know yet.
Are you gonna dabble like on day 31?
I haven't made a decision yet.
Make a decision, man. It's right around the corner.
Listen, this is my life.
Whatever.
But I'm
invested.
I'll tell you this. I have a newfound respect for the health benefits of vegan lifestyle. I have a newfound respect for the mindfulness that comes along with being so thoughtful about everything you eat. And I've definitely incorporated a lot more vegetables and other things into my diet. Good. And I hope that those are lasting changes.
I think that they are. I mean, you can never have too many
Thank you, Janet.
wonderful things inside of your... All right. Go ahead.
I'll let you read this one as well.
I just read the last one. Terry Head, former president of International Association of Movers and current CEO, head coach at Compass Coaching and Consulting LLC. How about switching up goals? Thomas, does the next Ignite and Ben runs the effing marathon? Okay. I do it. So basically, I do an Ignite session.
So you do more public speaking. You do the Ignite session.
No, not more. Just next.
Okay, but in a very big way.
So.
And then I have to run a marathon. That's what Terry's saying.
First off, if Ben runs a marathon, right? I'll do 15 effing Ignite sessions in a month.
Month.
I don't know.
I like how you're just gonna be on the corner with a Cash for Gold
Just
sign doing
igniting.
Ignite sessions for
It's
the public.
igniting
Like,
on the
like
corner.
as there's 15 opportunities a month. Anyway,
I mean, but okay, let's just bring it back down. Yeah, I'll do an Ignite session because I think that I shy away from things that I probably shouldn't, and I think I would do an okay job as long as I prepared and all that crap. So
these are
thank you
not
so
even in
much
the
for-
same stratosphere. These are not even in the same ballpark.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
They're
are.
not
For
even
me,
in the same county.
For me, you know I don't want to do an Ignite session, and you don't want to run an
You've
effing marathon.
already spoken and done keynote type of stuff at AMSA and things like that. So that's not even a
5
thing
minutes.
for you.
5
Me
minutes
doing a
under
marathon.
pressure. 5 minutes under pressure. I don't know if I can take it. So it's just like running a marathon.
How about
So-
5 hours
how about-
of
how about
pressure
we-
on my feet and knees and lungs?
How about we bring that down to a 5K? 3.1 miles. Ignite session, 5 minutes for me of pain and stress, and then 5K for you next year sometime.
How long does it take to
2020.
run a 5K?
Depends on how fast you're moving.
Okay, hour and a half.
My daughter did one, and she's not the quick one, and it was like 38 minutes.
Yeah, hour and a half. All right, so here's the thing. Here's what I will do.
What are you gonna do?
I will
Say yes. 5K.
I will
Half marathon. That's even more.
try to prepare myself for a 5K. You have to prepare to speak for as long as it takes me to run my 5K.
What?
So if it takes
No,
me
no,
45
no, 'cause
minutes,
that
an
leaves-
hour,
that leaves way
you need
too
to come
much.
up with. You need to come up with.
No, that
that
leaves
much
way too much
content.
up in
Terry,
the
we're gonna
air
have to take this offline because we obviously have to hammer out some details on this. But thank you for the inspiration.
Thanks so much for
and the question.
causing a rift between co-hosts. Thanks,
All
Terry.
right, next one. My girl Joanne Yatuma, operations manager at Expat Relocation Solutions, just got in before the deadline. She says, as someone who grew up and loves Detroit, how do you feel the city has transformed, and do you see this as a growing market in corporate relocation? I would love to hear some insight as the city continues to develop and attract new talent. All the best, and as always, enjoy the videos.
Well, I guess I'll start. I absolutely
You
love.
have been from Detroit a lot
Yeah,
longer than
yeah.
me.
I grew up in Detroit as well, and I love Detroit, and I love the city, and it has changed so dramatically in the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, if you grew up here as well, I mean, you know that downtown did not look like it does now, and does not. It feels like a different world down there. Sometimes my wife and I go down to eat down there, and we almost feel like we're in a different city, just because the things that happen down there that we used to just kind of stay away from. Greektown's still the same.
Are we getting to the mobility aspect of this? Or
sorry.
no, we're just going to talk about your experiences in Detroit.
Alright, whatever. It's a great city, and there's so many companies that are moving their headquarters here. It seems like every other day some new corporation is popping up with their headquarters or some type of big office here. So it's definitely a big hub for it. And thanks to Quicken Loans and Dan Gilbert for kind of bringing this in and saying that you got to move to here, move to Detroit and move the world. That's their thing, right?
That's what he said for the Amazon pitch, which we did not even come close to getting to the second round of. But it was a fantastic video for companies to move their headquarters here.
Yeah.
I think as companies move more headquarters, there's more jobs, there's more demand, there's more mobility. I see this as being an incredibly diverse market full of people from all over the world because there's so much auto here. And so the automotive companies are taking people from Japan, they're taking people from Germany, from Sweden, from India, from China, and there's a lot of that. France, there's a lot of that going on here.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, it's great. I think that will continue to happen. I do worry a little bit about what big automotive is doing right now. You're seeing some layoffs. You're seeing some people, they're creating plants here, but they're closing plants there. So it's like net neutral, So I think Detroit still goes as auto goes. It's trying to
You don't think that
diversify itself.
Yeah.
But it ain't there yet. Replacing.
I mean, but
big
Detroit's
auto
Detroit's
is
a
difficult.
big place though too. I mean, we're talking about downtown right now. I mean, how much has the city transformed? Downtown looks like is
Okay, well, let's go back to, you said Quicken Loans, right?
Yeah.
So Quicken Loans is the biggest up and coming, employer in the market. I think they employ about 16,000 people, in this city
city, yeah.
alone. I think 30,000, nationwide, right? So I do business with Quicken Loans. We did some moves for them. Currently, they relocate about 100 people.
Yeah.
So the biggest employer, or the most up and coming employer in Detroit, the one that we're saying we're kind of hitching our star to as a metropolis, they're not big in relo,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that tells me that I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, I have heard too. I mean, the fact that they kind of tapped out. You know, they're all tapped out on the local talent pretty much. You know, I mean, there's probably still coming up, but
Yeah, but you know what they're doing though? Then they're
grow there.
opening in Charlotte and Phoenix
true,
and
too.
Cleveland and
Yeah.
Dallas. So they're opening new sites. They're not saying, hey, how do we
But do you-
relocate
do you
best
like-
and brightest here?
Do you
It's
like
like, hey,
permission?
let's open
Do
new
you like
sites.
permission? Do you feel like they've given permission to the big companies or big corporations to bring their headquarters here because they see it's a city that's kind of fighting back and a great place
Yeah,
to start?
yeah. I think what rich people do is they look at other rich people and they say,
Yeah.
what's that rich people? What are they doing?
Oh,
and then rich people
that
follow
rich
rich
guy's there.
people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if that rich guy says that he's going to put his money down on it,
I'll go.
Then I'll go, because it's not about listening to what people say. It's about watching what people do.
Mm-hmm.
And when people make large investments, other people follow in suit.
Right,
So,
he's not dumb. He wouldn't lose money on this.
right.
So
So
let's
I
go.
think Dan Gilbert's a leader in that regard, just as like Warren Buffett is a leader in that regard. So I think, yes, as people continue to make investments in Detroit and build in Detroit, I think it's all good. I think a lot of these companies are smaller, they're newer, and so their mobility programs are not super well defined.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the struggles that we're going to face. But
Yeah, it's gonna be a long process.
yeah, for sure. But thanks for the question, Joanne. It's good seeing you at IAM, and big shout to Detroit. Let's see here, going down here.
Nikki Moore, Talent Acquisition Supervisor, the Spear Group, Southern Cross Inc. Thomas Bailey, did you start off your career as an intern at Coca-Cola Refreshments?
I know
know
you,
you.
but I don't know you.
LOL, wrecking my brain. Help. Either way, I love you and Ben's videos. Nikki Moore, I don't know. I guess I have
You
to
don't know
see
if you started at Coca-Cola Refreshments. Did you ever work for Coca-Cola Refreshments?
Start with that part. I don't know if I know you, but I definitely didn't work at Coca-Cola Refreshments. I've had Coca-Cola before.
You've been refreshed
Maybe this smile looks
on
like
the
a
job, perhaps?
It's like a Coke smile. Maybe
You
that's
have
what
a Coke smile.
I do have a Coke smile.
You do.
I don't know, Nikki.
No, you do know. You have not. is the
No,
answer.
I don't know that. But no, I don't know you. I don't think I know you. I'm sorry.
But hey, we're opening new friends and
Yeah.
connections.
Yes.
It
Yes.
sounds like
and I have
Nikki's a fan.
and I have an idea though that I want to wrap this whole thing up with.
yeah.
So let's go, Nikki. I'm sorry, I didn't work there. I mean, if y'all hiring,
If y'all.
oh, is it?
All right.
Did we win? Are we done?
That is it,
Okay.
and the people are probably tired. So hey, let's call it. Let's go get some of this vegan
Okay, hold
Indian
on.
food.
Hold on.
We're
I
at
have
Saffron in Farmington Hills.
I have an idea.
Oh, okay.
I have
go
an
ahead,
idea.
Go ahead.
Okay, and I think you'll like this idea, Ben. All right.
Uh-oh. Oh,
right,
this is the
this is
idea
it.
you would tell me about.
Right.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm just gonna say the words, and then I'm gonna listen to your face. Look.
You're gonna listen
I'm
to my
listening to your
face.
face. I'm looking at your face right now. The Gross Up Brunch.
It does combine a lot of things I like.
Right?
Talk to me.
So we have a brunch here in Detroit, or here in the Detroit area, and we're gonna make sure it's at a vegan / whatever type of place, right? It doesn't have to be all vegan.
Okay.
So everybody's welcome. We got Stacy that's gonna come for the vegan aspects of everything.
Yes.
We're gonna have a sit down, and we're gonna film it or whatever we gotta do, and we'll have a gross up episode brunchish,
Like a discussion kind of thing?
like a networking discussion thing.
Over food? And are we really going to eat?
Over real food.
We're going to eat on camera?
No, none of this and then order.
None of this like, hey, we're going to go eat later?
Straight up networking, heavy talking, and it'll just be a good time. It'll grow, but the gross up brunch.
Yeah, so I love that idea.
I know that you love that
I
idea.
love
That's why I
breaking
didn't tell
bread
you
with
over the
people. I
phone.
feel like that's like a personal connection that you just can't replicate.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to get more microphones.
I don't care.
Just thinking logistically, but I love it. If you want to be a part of the Gross Up Brunch,
I don't know
hit
when
us
it's gonna
up.
start, but it's starting. We're doing it.
hit
You
us
like
up. We'll make it a conversational thing. Half dozen friends or something.
Yeah.
And we'll just have a conversation.
that? Stacy, you're invited apparently. So
And you may be the only one invited.
she's the reason why I thought about this.
Stacey, you're the reason. That's awesome. Also, I have an announcement here. Check us out on our new Facebook page. Check out for the Gross Up Podcast. We haven't actually created it, but by the time this airs,
we have it.
we're going to create it. Oh, you did create it?
I did.
Hey, we created it. You got to check it out. It's fresh. It's hot. It's new.
Yep.
Join us. Like it. Share it. Comment on it. Also, know that that's where when we start publishing our live stuff, We're going to start doing more live stuff from conferences. We're going to do some live stuff in Puerto Rico. Just
the
a little
ARC
teaser
location,
there. Yep. So definitely want to subscribe to that because they're going to push out a lot of content there. And we're also going to probably host our previous videos there as well, so you can find it, share it as well.
Amen.
So, hey man, let's get some food, bro.
Amen to that too.
That's what's up. Good job.
Eating time.